You are listening to Living Later Radio. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio.
Living Lighter provides a revolutionary way to address what's truly holding you back. We have the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter.
Join us now for a Living Lighter experience. This is Living Lighter Radio, and I'm Patricia. I'm here with my husband, Jason, and today we're going to talk about being married. Stay tuned because we're going to talk about specific things you can do to invigorate your marriage and add back the va-va-voom. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, we've been working with married couples and individuals for years. What, Jason, is the most important misconception about a successful marriage or relationship?
Oh, I love this one. That actions and behaviors can make a marriage better. In other words, that's the biggest misconception, that you can change your action or behavior to make your marriage better.
You mean the box of candy won't work?
Well, no.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. No.
Okay. So here's a big question then. What if you Google, quote, how to have a better marriage, unquote, all the advice about the actions and behaviors that you can use if you quote that question?
So we Googled how to have a better marriage.
Okay.
And we have a list here. And so I'm just giving you a warning, warning. I'm on my soapbox, and I'm, this is a big deal because it's such a misconception. For example, one of the things it says is practice gratitude. Say thank you to your partner, to make it better between you. That doesn't change the energy.
Well, wait a minute, but don't we all deserve to be to have gratitude and be thankful for our partners?
Of course.
Okay.
But if your partner's faking it, if he or she reads it goes to Google and reads a list,
okay,
and says, and there's some of you out there, and you know who you are, you will create this list and do check marks or create a list for yourself. Oh, did I practice gratitude with my spouse today? Check.
Mm-hmm.
Did
okay.
Now here's another one. More physical touch. Check. Celebrate positive events together. All these things happen. Here's what I'm trying to say. All these things happen naturally, organically, once you change the energy.
And how do you do that, Jason?
With the ecosystem approach.
Okay.
Changing the energy is the key. Here's the problem. And if you've ever seen a play or watched a movie or even done this on your own where you've acted in a play in high school or college, you can fake actions and behaviors. But you're in a marriage, your spouse can always see through that type of faking. And so if you're being grateful, but it's phony, it won't take your spouse very long to say, hey.
Well, and that's things that happen when they can start to see through you, so to speak. Then the resentment and the anger and the toxic energy not only starts within, but it also is in between the relationship.
The reason the divorce rate is so high is because people go into a marriage faking it, acting a role.
Exactly. And they also think, once I get married, I can change that in him or her.
Yes.
And that, I guarantee you, if that thought has crossed your mind even once, you're definitely in the wrong place.
Yeah, but those are still actions.
They are.
If you go into the idea that you can, as long as you do a good marketing rollout and you get the guy, you get the girl,
okay,
and then after you become married, then they're not going to see the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you remember that movie 50
First dates?
No, not 50 first dates. 50 dresses or 12 dresses or anyways.
Yeah.
It was about two sisters, and she was always going to everybody's wedding except her own. But her sister fell in love with the guy that she was interested in, and she did this. She completely faked it. She said she was a vegetarian because he was a vegetarian.
Oh, that's right.
And,
yeah. She likes sports because he likes sports.
All those things, and eventually
camping.
Her sister was getting really mad because she knew she was lying. So,
yes.
But the point is that you can't fake those things.
Not for long, anyway.
How do you create authentic gratitude? For example, here's some more. Let me go to the list because I just love this stuff. It says play more together. Well, if you're angry at your spouse, how the heck are you going to play? It doesn't work.
Right, because going up and kicking him in the shins doesn't say, "Hey, let's play." Well, it might to some, but for the most part, it doesn't say that.
It says here's one of my favorites. I don't know why. It says change your sexual habits, but the truth is, whenever I talk about our sex life on the radio, I get the look, even though we may not be facing each other. But the truth is, it's not about swinging from the
rafters.
With the Tarzan imitation, that doesn't make your sex life better. It's the energy between you.
Exactly. And we have heard and also experienced ourselves that when you change the energy between you, the negative energy between you, you're capable of doing so many more things, such as communicating. I mean, talking,
expressing gratitude.
Exactly.
Looking forward to having the other person be there.
Exactly. And it's the interesting part is most people would never consider changing the energy between you. And I can't resist. How do you do that again, Jason?
The ecosystem approach.
Absolutely.
One of the things on the list is practice random acts of kindness for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds good in theory, and it is good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But all these things, and Patricia and I were talking about it before the show, we do this, but it's not because we read a list.
No.
It's because we've changed the energy. We like each other.
And that's a big key.
And because we've changed the energy.
Right.
And so expressing gratitude, just enjoying being together.
Hey, that doesn't mean you can't bring me a box of candy now and then. Okay,
yeah.
Just want to make sure.
I get it. Yeah. So everybody has to know. If I brought her a box of candy and she ate it, she would blame me because she ate it.
Of course. I don't want to keep that negative energy between me and you, or just on me. I want him to have it too. And by the way, I know we're teasing each other right now, but the truth is that's exactly what people do to each other.
When they have fun, when it's lighthearted, when there's lighthearted energy.
Right.
And each person has their own style.
Wait a minute, I need to back up. That sounded as if we were saying it's okay to blame each other for, and that's not what we were saying at all. Jason and I were teasing each other just a minute ago.
We have fun. And,
we do.
The truth is, I have this weird sense of humor, and I think it's probably a gift from the gods that she appreciates my sense of humor, at least to my face. I can see her roll her eyes.
I'm not faking that one, dear. I'm not faking that one. Okay, just saying. All right.
It works for us.
Yes.
But for some other couple, it may not work.
Right.
Showing, having more touch may not. You may not be the touchy kind of people. But
exactly.
That's okay. But once you clear this negative energy, and that's the whole point of this segment, everything else kind of falls into place naturally, organically, and you start to really love your partner or not. And we're going to talk about or not later on.
But the other thing is that not everything is right for everyone. Let me just say that. But When you use the ecosystem approach and you start to learn about you, then you start to gain clarity about your relationship and relationships. And that clarity is so very, very, very important. And it's important for you to know, what do I actually like?
Well, you start
what do I want?
You start with, who am I?
Yes.
This is the whole month was about love. So if you start with the ultimate love, which is self-love,
Right.
It has to start there. You can't love your partner more if you don't love yourself.
Exactly.
If you're looking to your partner to fill in those gaps in you,
Mm-hmm.
You can go through this list, but it's not going to land in a very sincere way.
And I do want to say, one of the nicest things that can happen is when you and your partner both do clearing. It doesn't have to be that way, but it does make it nicer and easier.
We have some clients who both the husband and wife cleared, individually and together, and it makes such a difference. And it doesn't mean they don't struggle, but
right.
it makes such a difference.
So, Jason, have we covered all of our points? All right. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Action and behaviors are never the root problem in a marriage. Your feelings about yourself and your partner are the root cause of difficulty. Those feelings are energies that have to be changed with an energetic process. And the ecosystem approach gets to the root about how you feel about yourself and your partner, and it makes it better.
Love it. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to invigorate your marriage and add back the va-va-voom. You're listening to Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. This is Transformation Talk Radio.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Coming to you live on TransformationTalkRadio.com is the Brilliance Ultimatum. Time's Up with Claudette Rowley. Powerful conversations, practical innovations, and transformative solutions as Claudette and her guests delve into the possibilities and what she calls reality resistance. Join the cultural revolution and annihilate obstacles. Check it out at culturalbrilliance.com.
Are you meeting your sales goals? Or maybe your business plan could use a dose of the divine. Tune in to Divinely Driven Results with faith-based business coach Elise Smith on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Coach Elise Smith helps listeners get unstuck from their business plateau and become empowered through divine guidance. Build up belief in yourself and your dreams and learn business strategies that work for you for real lasting results. Learn more by visiting www.divinelydrivenresults.com. Living a richly abundant life sound too good to be true? Listen in to Richly Abundant Women with Julie Steelman on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Embrace a vibrant future of breaking free financially and creating a richly abundant life filled with prosperity and growth. To learn more about Julie Steelman and Richly Abundant Women, visit www.juliesteelman.com.
Hey, how's it going? If it's stressful or just plain exhausting, New Light Living is here to ask, is this the way you want to live? Join me, your intuitive spiritual life coach and host, Ulrika Sullivan, every week on New Light Living. Discover the power of creative tools to start living every day as your ideal dream day. See your life in the new light. To learn more, visit newlightliving.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how to invigorate your marriage or relationship and add back in the va-va-voom. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay, Jason, what do you mean by va-va-voom? And by the way, audience, I've been waiting for the explanation on this one. So, Jason, take it away.
Well, so most people, especially men, I raise my hand, think about sex or doing some sort of Tarzan Jane imitation in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. But in reality, it's the energy or feeling. The desire. It's, it doesn't have to be just about sex. In fact, it should be about everything. The desire to be with each other,
right?
Wanting to touch each other.
Okay.
The desire for sex, of course, is in there. But just wanting to share your day with the other person, that's an energy. Yeah. You can't fake that. You can't act that way. You can't just take some sort of do some sort of new behavior that, first of all, is not sustainable if the feelings aren't there. And it's by working with the energy that you get the feelings back. And
exactly.
Oh, by the way, Patricia, I love that Jane outfit that you're wearing right now.
Oh, I apologize again for that one. So,
actually, I'm just kidding. But
the bottom line is that yes, he teases like this all the time. But you know what? I have a story, and it's definitely not about Jason, not by any means at all. But it's about my first marriage. I was married very, very young. We barely knew each other, and I thought, okay, I have to do this. This is the way it is, and I have to be able to make this work. And the bottom line is that I figured out, it didn't take me very long, about a year, that I was acting on everything, not on everything, about everything that I was doing.
In other words, as she explained this to me yesterday, she acted a role that she knew he wanted.
Exactly.
Because what would happen if you didn't act that way?
Well, first off, there would be a huge attitude, and the other thing is that the ice cold would just be unlivable for me, because I'm not an ice cold person. That's all there is to it. And but the thing that I noticed after about a year is the toxic energy. I despised the thought of him coming home at 4:45 in the afternoon. And
that's because you acted like you wanted to see him.
And as far as I was concerned, that's what you were supposed to do. And this supposed to do, or the school of, you have to play this role because you're this now. Boy, first off, it's just lying, just plain lying. And the thing that I noticed even back then was the toxic energy that started to build. And it was not good. It not only affected me, but it affected the entire household. And I know I am not a quiet person. I get that. But we got to the point where we were barely even communicating at all. And what I would have given back then for the ecosystem approach, that is for sure.
Well, and we're going to talk about that some more.
Okay.
But, all the things that the experts suggest that you do in a marriage, like this list that we were just talking about earlier, they all come naturally when the energy is as it should be.
Right.
And so you don't have to focus on doing those things. They just happen. We talk about things that we appreciate with each other and all the time, because that's how it feels. It's
exactly.
Not that we try and do it. It's not that I have to create a list and say, oh, I have to go touch my wife right now. I just grab her on a regular basis. Oh my gosh, this is going to be an X-rated show.
It is. Okay.
Parents, you put your hands over your kids' ears.
Okay. So, but Jason, talk about the jewelry commercial. Let's get off the subject a little bit.
There's this jewelry commercial that I think is so funny, because the woman says to the guy, "Oh, honey, you don't have to do anything for Valentine's Day for me this year.
Let's not do anything special for Valentine's Day, dear."
And then there's these three guys that are singing in the background saying, don't be stupid. Here, give her some sort of necklace from this jewelry store.
Exactly.
And things will be a lot better.
Exactly.
And you can tell the guy looks kind of clueless, and by the way, cluelessness in guys is an energy.
It totally is an energy. And
it's a form of numbness.
Exactly. And that numbness is there protecting them from the barbs and the bites and the other things that their partners are doing because they're not awake. They're not being aware. Well, not being aware in a relationship is about the energy. And guess what? We can remove that. And it's not painful.
So, we talked about preventative maintenance for a marriage and adding back the va-va-voom.
Yes.
Well, it's not like you have to do the Tarzan Jane imitation. What you do is clear constantly, consistently, and specifically. Now, if you've heard our shows before, you've heard constantly, consistently, and specifically before. But those are the negative energies that are attached to you and between you and your partner.
Right.
And when you start to remove them, it's amazing.
Right.
Or maybe it isn't. We'll talk about maybe it isn't in just a minute. But
okay.
So for guys, imagine driving your car for 100,000 miles and never doing an oil change. Or for the ladies out there, I know I'm being very
yes, you are sexist.
Yes, but if you've never cleaned your refrigerator or oven for years and years,
I have to say this just popped in. In the last house that I lived in, the whole time I was there, I never cleaned the oven once. I mean, I might have wiped out a spill or two, but I never cleaned the oven once. But I do have to say this. I did do a lot of clearing for our relationship. That's where I spent my time.
Well, and if it was up to her, we would go 100,000 miles without changing the oil because, that little light there, I'll just got to put a piece of tape over that.
Exactly.
But and the truth is we have very traditional roles in our marriage.
Yes, we do.
It doesn't have to be that way for everyone,
right.
But it works for us.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, and that's good.
And it comes from the constant,
consistent and specific clearing. Absolutely.
And so what I want to talk about real quickly is we created this move, clear, meditate approach.
Okay.
So you can be able to clear constantly, consistently, and specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of what you've experienced with us is clearings,
right?
And clearings are really portable. You can read them on your iPhone. You can listen to them, which this show is recorded, so in fact, clients have told me they listen to the show
right.
and the clearings over and over and over again because they prefer to have us lead them and they will follow in their minds, in their imagination.
They love it.
But Patricia's created some moves that are really amazing. So you can, while you're walking down the street or getting ready for work in the morning,
or even driving in the car.
Driving in the car is probably more for clearings, but the moves are for when you're.
Well, there's a few that we're gonna show you.
That you can do while you're moving.
Exactly.
And, they can even be little mini workouts, but you're removing negative energy at the same
right.
time. And then our meditations are so much different than others, where our meditations help ground you and relax you, like all of them do. Okay, but in addition, we help you remove that negative energy.
Right.
And there's a big difference between just meditating and removing negative energy while meditating.
Exactly,
it's huge.
Okay,
so
go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
Well, and we have another story, but I remember working with a couple. And we rarely work with couples because usually we take them we clear them individually.
We do one-on-one mostly.
One-on-one, and that helps.
Right.
We don't need to have them. A marriage counselor will set up rules and be the referee, and that's not what we want to do. That's not an organic way.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a marriage counselor and you need a referee or a rule maker, then something's wrong, and that means you can't even talk to each other unless you run to the therapist to go have a discussion.
Exactly.
That doesn't work.
Well, tell them your story, Jason.
Well, so I had this couple, and I was working with the woman, and her mother had been working with me, so that's how she found me. We've been working for a while, and she wanted to get her husband involved, and he was reluctant. He didn't really want to do it, but he got involved. We started clearing the stuff between them. And about 15, 20 minutes into the session, they started talking to each other. And it's like I wasn't even there.
And it was almost as if they'd done that for the first time in years.
It's like something had popped. We cleared the negative energy, and they started talking. And by the way, I wasn't offended. That's exactly what we want them to do.
Right.
It's not for us to resolve people's problems.
It's for them.
Exactly.
To clear them.
If you take away that negative energy, then you could just figure it out on your own.
Exactly.
Or if you can't, then sometimes that's an indication that there's something deeper involved. We're going to talk about that in the next segment.
Okay. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Good feelings in a marriage is not from actions, but from positive energy or feelings.
Right.
Clearing the buildup of bad feelings is the best preventative maintenance in a marriage.
Yes.
Clearing constantly, consistently, and specifically is the foundation for a great marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you how to work with feelings and energy in a marriage.
Stay tuned when we come back. We're going to talk about how to feel better in any type of marriage or relationship. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Break your snooze button habits for good with the Soul Stretching Sisters on the I Am Power Hour with me, Terry J. Walker.
And me, Dr. Pat, on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Pump up your spiritual muscle as we share stories.
Aspire higher
and live a whole lot larger.
to help you unleash your powered up.
Pumped up, I Am Soul Stretching Success.
Anything can happen when we take to the airwaves.
And all things become possible during the I Am Power Hour.
The vibration of change, that magical place where life shifts from struggle to ease, from stagnation to forward movement, from old ways of being to new ways of becoming. If you're like I am, it can be rather elusive to get there, but when you are in it, you feel it down to your very core, don't you? And it can positively affect everything in your life, from your relationships to your health and well-being, from your career path to your abundance, from the quality of that inner connection to the fullness of your self-expression. On the Christine Upchurch Show, we explore ways to get into that vibration of change with experts in the fields of consciousness, psychology, spirituality, health, healing, and science. Join me, Christine Upchurch, every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on KKNW AM 1150 and Transformation Talk Radio, and learn new ways to step into your vibration of change.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
The Coach Peggy Show, all things wellness with me, Coach Peggy Wilms. Tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where I'm going to talk to you about all things wellness. We go way beyond nutrition and fitness, you guys. It's the Coach Peggy Show. We get bold, we get badass, and we never go half in. And for more information, you can visit me at allthingswellness.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. In this segment, we're going to tell you how to feel better in any type of marriage or relationship. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. You know, I hate to even ask this question, but I will. So, Jason, how do you deal with being in an awful, bad, dead, boring and or stuck marriage or relationship?
You always have to start with yourself. And sometimes that's a cliche, but the truth is with the ecosystem approach, it's not, because we tell you exactly how to do that, and that starts with clearing. But if your marriage is less than great, then the way to fix it is first within yourself. You may feel trapped, like you have no other options, but those feelings can be changed. If you feel like you're in a virtual cage, there's always something about you that put you there. And this isn't blaming. I'm not saying that's your fault.
Well, oftentimes I'm going to jump in and say, that's a form of programming. I was programmed to be the good wife.
Yes. And usually it's that programming that got you into that cage in the first place. And the way out of programming is by clearing away those negative effects. And it starts in your essence. And the thing that you can always change is your essence and your feelings. And no one can control that. We've heard so many horror stories about spouses that are controlling and control their spouse's movements, their phone calls, who they
try to control their thinking.
Yes,
completely. And I just want everyone to know the ecosystem approach, when you start doing it, you cannot be touched by somebody else.
In other words, this part within you is completely within your own control.
Exactly.
That a partner who's controlling to the max still cannot get to this part.
Right.
And if you start changing from the inside out, amazing things can happen. And it's hard to predict even what those are, but if you start changing on the inside, that's the way to do it.
Well, I'm going to bring up the subject again, but Jason, if it's Satan's spawn is your partner, or something is equally as evil, focusing on yourself, that's the way to go, correct?
Yes. And we've had so many stories where people will come to us and they say, no, you don't understand. This woman or guy is so bad that blah, blah, blah. I can't do this or I can't do that. And they're convinced that they're powerless and they want us to do something to make it better. And, there are a few exceptions. If you're being physically abused, there's a good chance you have to leave just to any way you can.
Make yourself safe.
Yes. But at the end of the day, it's that internal part that has to change.
Right.
And even if you escape and get to a safe place, you still have to start changing that place on the inside.
I need to say this. I'm going to jump in and say the first marriage that I talked about, by the way, it ended up with a shotgun in my face. And I have to tell you, it was not a pretty sight. My daughter and I did manage to get out. But it wasn't until I started doing the ecosystem approach that I could actually trust men again. It took me a long time because around every corner could be another shotgun as far as I was concerned. And I actually went to therapy. I actually did some things around this. And it wasn't until I started doing the ecosystem approach and saw changing my perspective about who I was really made a difference.
And as intuitives, we see this.
Yes.
It's not that therapy is bad.
No, not at all.
Talking about the problem doesn't necessarily change the energy. And we both had therapy, and we both know that it was only until we started changing it very constantly, consistently, and specifically
for ourselves
that we could see the changes in ourselves, that where our power was.
Exactly. And unfortunately, we all have been trained to give up our power to our partners.
It's
sad.
My mother, who lives with us, she was enslaved by my dad, but I don't think she even realizes it.
No.
Both my sister and I have talked about it many times, and it's affected us. But he controlled her. In fact, after he died, and we went to get her from her house where she was, the neighbors all came out and said, "Oh, she's such a nice woman, but we never knew she even existed."
A lot of them said, "We didn't really know she was there for years."
Yes,
because he controlled her every move. And to know her, you would never think she'd ever even been through something like that. But the bottom line is that she was told, she was programmed, she had to love her husband no matter what.
And the way out is always in this by working on your essence.
Yes.
That center point. That's where your power is. That's where everything emanates from.
Yes.
So if you're struggling right now, whether it's just mildly boring or dead, or maybe you're being controlled in a way that is really toxic for you, start with yourself first.
Right.
And then the solutions will start to reveal themselves.
They will.
Because we're not here to tell you, if some expert tells you what you have to do, and there's a few exceptions, like
be safe.
Like be safe. Obviously, if you're being physically abused, you have to be safe. For people that are one high away from being overdosing and dying, there has to be some sort of external intervention. But for the most part, you start on the inside. And
Right.
even if you do that there's some sort of external intervention, then you still have to do the inside work for yourself.
Exactly. And one more time, I want to reiterate to anyone that is out there that is being physically abused. First off, I'm not saying jump up and run, but find a way to talk to someone about how to be safe and how to be secure when and if you decide to leave.
And then once you're safe, start the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
The ecosystem approach is not a quick fix, but
No.
oh my gosh, it's the most powerful thing that you've ever done. And we found that for that to be the case for ourselves. And it's the reason why we have such a great marriage. It's not like, we're very compatible in a lot of respects, but a lot of respects we're really different. But
I'm not a geek, he is.
it works for us because the
Yes.
energy is in the right place.
Exactly.
And our relationship is so much different
now.
Yeah, we just had an anniversary,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so much different now than it was in the beginning.
Right.
And it's because we've been clearing constantly, consistently, and specifically.
And we need to say this. When you marry someone or you're in a relationship with someone and you're not doing the ecosystem approach, you take the baggage of your entire life and a lot of times your entire family and you take it into that relationship. And when that happens, you're digging through things.
Muck.
Garbage, yes, to have a positive relationship. And the point that we're getting at is start the ecosystem approach today. So you don't have to come into the relationship with baggage or less than you would have, say, before.
And if you're already in a relationship, start now. You always start where you are.
Exactly. And that's a good thing. So, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
When you're in a bad relationship, the first step is to always work on your essence.
Right.
Except for those exceptions we talked about.
Yes.
No matter how evil or controlling your partner is, working on your essence is untouchable and the source of your power.
Yes.
Working on your essence is always the first most important step to freedom, love, and joy. And the ecosystem approach is the way to see clearly and have the power and courage for a better relationship.
I love it. So, Jason, for those of you out there that don't know how we do our energy work, we're going to teach you right now. And so I'm turning over to Jason.
Yes, here's the clearing. This is how you work with energy. You set your intention to help yourself, and then when we do these clearings on the show, just set your intention to help others too.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
Use your imagination. You can sit in any position you want, sit or stand. So you can stand on your head, doesn't matter. When we say the stated emotion, imagine in your mind's eye, your imagination, to gather up those things, whether it's an emotion or the veils and illusions or barriers, whatever it is, gather that up in your body and blow it into a trash can. Now, if there's not a trash can where you are, blow it into an imaginary trash can, and we'll empty it. Don't worry about that. And then we go on to the next emotion.
Okay, and then after that, we activate life force energy. Life force energy is the most positive energy that any of us has access to, and we call upon it. We have it come in through the top of our head, go all the way down our body and our arms and our legs and go to the tips of our toes, turn it around, and then blow out any negative energy that's left over. So, and by the way, we also see this as clear, pure light. Stay tuned when we come back. We're going to do some clearings to help your marriage and your relationships and you to have love and joy in a relationship. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Your favorite Transformation Talk radio shows are now on Spotify.
What?
Simply search out your favorite host or show by name, tap the subscribe button, and boom! With over 150 million active monthly users on Spotify, Transformation Talk Radio is thrilled to expand our reach so you never have to miss an episode. Well, what the heck are you waiting for? Log into Spotify and subscribe now.
Hi, this is Kimberly Carlson, and I would love for you to tune into All In Healing Radio, where together we will begin to experience health, happiness, and harmony in all areas and aspects of life. Join us every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. on transformationtalkradio.com. All In Healing will help you release layers of negative beliefs and energies for radiant health, deep joy, and greater abundance. Visit me at KimberlyCarlson.com.
Do you know how powerful your thoughts and beliefs are in determining your experience of your life? Is it really true that simply by changing some of the words you use in your day-to-day language, that you can change your life? I'm Megan Edge. Join me on Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Do you need a spiritual makeover or perhaps just a mental tune-up to optimize your life trajectory? Julia has over 45 years of wisdom to share with you, and she offers counsel by the hour where you can choose from a menu of her services and receive both consults and or product. Julia went from being a maid to having it made, and you can too. If you're interested, contact me at www.hummingbird-jewel.com.
It's time to get your life back on Burn Bright Today with Jennifer Marcinelli. Tune in each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Learn to move from the darkness of burning out to the light of burning bright. Jennifer is redefining stress and the energetic causes of burnout, shining a light on process to get your life back. For more information about Jennifer and her work, visit burnbrighttoday.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to do some clearings to help your marriage, relationships, and yourself to have love and joy in a relationship. Jason, you ready to get going?
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that acting differently will not improve my marriage. So gather up those veils and illusions, blow them into that trash can.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that it's the energy and the feelings that make or break a relationship or marriage. Take a breath.
Here's a big one. And to eliminate the hurt, pain, and anger that have built up in my marriage that needs to be removed. Take a breath. Gather up those hurts, pains, and anger, blow it into the trash can.
Well, and I'm going to add to that. And to eliminate the resentment that has built up in me connected to my relationship. Take a breath.
We've talked about this many times before, but the biggest misconception is that if you're angry at your spouse and then it goes away, it's gone. But it's not. And it's energies build up. They get more and more and more.
Exactly.
And it gets worse. And that's why you need to do the preventative maintenance.
And by the way, those energies lay in wait for the same energies to be added to them.
Yes.
It's very interesting. So, and Go ahead, Jason.
Okay. And to eliminate the barrier, so I can see that removing bad feelings regularly is essential for my routine maintenance of my relationship.
And yourself. Take a breath.
If you're muttering under your breath because of your partner, that that's a buildup of negative energy.
Yes, it is.
To clear it.
Yes. So, and to eliminate any anger and frustration that I have about my partner that is built up, and that includes hurt and hate as well. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the bitterness and frustration I have about my partner, my relationship, and even myself.
Mm-hmm.
Gather that bitterness, frustration, and blow it into the trash can.
Pick it up and blow it out. And to eliminate the guilt and shame about my relationship that keeps me from clearing the negative feelings and the negative emotions. Take a breath.
And to eliminate any hopelessness I have that says, why bother? I'm stuck. I'm trapped. It's not going to make any difference. Why clear? Gather all that hopelessness up and blow it into that trash can.
So, and to eliminate any neediness and shame or unworthiness that makes me feel stuck in my relationship, not only with my partner, my spouse, but also with myself. Take a breath. And notice we're adding a lot of stuff that relationships and then yourself. We're adding that because remember, starting with you is the most important place to start. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can trust that clearing my neediness and insecurities will help my relationship.
Yes. Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see actions will not change my relationship. The only thing that will change my relationship, meaning put it upright, is changing the energy. Take a breath.
And we've been doing this for a while. We want to do some clearings to change the world. Mm-hmm. So imagine, just take, in your mind's eye, take your hand, go all the way around the globe, gather up all the negative energy and push it into a big dumpster at the end.
Okay.
And since this is kind of close to Valentine's Day, let's do this.
Okay.
And to eliminate all the barriers to love and affection, to all the couples and the partners and the lovers in the world, so that they can rejuvenate their feelings toward each other
authentically.
Yes. Take
a breath.
Hand around and blow it into that big dumpster.
Blow it out.
And to eliminate all the people who have settled in their relationship, that's keeping them from having the joy and the love that they could have, because they're afraid to leave, they're afraid of what might happen, and they're afraid to rock the boat. So put that hand all the way around the globe and put it into that dumpster.
And I realize in this segment we're actually helping others with our intentions, but understand that that's the best way to make the world right, is to actually change the energy. And with that said, and to eliminate all the anger and distrust, suspicion with those who don't share my beliefs about relationships and the world. Take a breath. Blow it out.
And let's do life force. You ready?
I want to do one more.
Okay.
And to eliminate all the bitterness and hate and rage that people have with the world, about the world, that makes us mean or angry at others. Take a breath.
He loves clearing the world. So
I do.
There's nice cleanup thing.
It really is. So now I'll activate life force.
Okay.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force for all that I need, want, desire, and deserve. And that includes clarity, awareness, and objectivity for me and the world by using life force. Nice and easy. Take a breath. Let it go right in through the top of your head, all the way down your torso, and let it cover the world right now. Blow out any negative energy. Put it in that big trash can.
And to activate life force so I can see my potential in my relationships comes from clearing the energy.
Yes. Take a breath. In through the top of your head. Blow it and let it go all the way down to the tips of your toes. Turn it around and blow out any negative energy left over. And to activate life force so I can see when I'm afraid and know what to do about it in my highest and best interest, not only of myself, but the situation. Take a breath. And I have one last one. And to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and creative and have fun and have peace of mind, joy, love of myself, love of others, and love of the earth. Starting right now, take a nice breath, pull in that positive energy right through the top of your head, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Turn it around and blow out any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
So February is the month of love, and next week, we talked about marriage today, and the week before it was seeking love, and the week before that it was the ultimate love, which is self-love.
Okay.
And last week we're going to talk about what to do when you're disappointed in love, and the pain and the hurt that comes from that is huge.
Yes.
So what do you do after a divorce, a breakup, or being trapped in a bad marriage? What is it that you need to do? So,
by the way, the first thing that you want to do is you want to clean up everything that you threw and then start doing the clearing. I just thought I'd do a heads up on that one. Okay. If some parts of you gets the importance of clearing your essence with the ecosystem approach, mark your calendar. The Living Lighter Radio is every week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't listen at that time, our show is recorded, and you can go to our website, www.livinglighter.org, and look for the radio tab.
So, one of the things that if you really want to have a better marriage, if you really say, okay, I want to make it better right now, do the clearings. And the way you do that is you sign up for our newsletter. Mm-hmm. Every week in the newsletter, we have clearings. And even if you don't clear specifically for that topic, it still helps you. Always when you're removing negative energy, and most of our clearings are pretty generic. So those clearings help, and the more you do it, the better it is. And the way you do that is by being on our newsletter list. It's completely free. We don't sell the list. We don't do any of that. So go to our livinglighter.org website, go to the newsletter tab. All we ask for is your name and email address, and it's completely free, and you'll start getting the clearings every single week. Do that right now.
Okay, that's a really, really, really good idea. And the other thing is that set your intentions to listen to our show next week. That is for sure.
Yeah, if you listen to our show every week and do the clearings with us, we always do the clearings in the last segment, and it's gonna help you. Okay. So listen to our show every week, and then sign up for our newsletter. It's gonna be amazing.
What about Facebook, Jason?
I have this thing. I like to be liked on Facebook. So if you go to livinglighter.org on Facebook, you'll find our Facebook page, and just like us. Leave some thoughts if you like. So.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you, truly. So we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia.
Wishing you a lifetime of living lighter.
Thank you for listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly as we discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information, visit our website at www.livinglighter.org.